My name is Andrew Weeber, and I started a vineyard in Kent called Gusbourne. I did this as a project in my sort of second life. I worked as an orthopedic surgeon and then retired and went moderately crazy, bought a farm and planted a vineyard. Well, I have to explain the English sparkling wine industry because English wine was a joke when I started. It wasn't really a joke, but it was perceived as a joke. And I read about it and thought about it. I'd always been interested in wine as a hobby. And I thought it was workable, and the opportunity came up to acquire some prime property in the southeast of England. So I bought it, and that's what started it all. Well, the first problem was my family, because they thought I'd gone certifiably mad. So that was the first thing. However, they indulged me, and then there was the voyage of discovery whether this would work, because it never was guaranteed. And it's a very capital-intensive business. It's a big hole that you pour money into. However, over time, it will succeed if you set yourself the goal of being the best. I think that's always, there's always room at the top. The bottom is a crowded space. I actually think I've been very lucky, and this isn't modesty. I think the site that I bought was far better than I thought it would be. So it's a bit difficult to say to someone, it's good to be lucky. But I was lucky in that regard. And right from the beginning, I tried to do my best and didn't do anything in a half-measured way. I think that's the important thing. And I think orthopedic surgery was a good training ground for that, because it's one of those specialities where it's wonderful if everything goes right. It's a nightmare if things go wrong. So the secret is to make sure you do everything right. I've always been a closet tree hugger, and owning a farm gave me the opportunity to express this, and to express it in terms of the vines. So hugging trees and hugging vines it's a very similar occupation. And doing it well and doing it properly and not defiling the land is very important, because I didn't start off being terribly environmentally aware, but the more grandchildren I have, the more interested I am in the planet. I've been so lucky. I've never felt as though I've had a job. I enjoyed orthopedic surgery immensely. From my second lecture in orthopedics, I decided I was going to become an orthopedic surgeon. I never deviated. I enjoyed going to work every day. I used to, in fact, disguise it a bit from my wife. And the same applies to Gusbourne and the vineyards. I really love the aspects of the farming aspects. I think being able to do things for your family, be able to sponsor education for your children, that sort of thing. That's what's been the most important thing that wealth has done, or relative affluence, depends on how you measure wealth, but relative affluence has enabled me to do. I don't have any ambition to be the richest man in the cemetery. No, I don't. And it's not that I dread retirement and I want to be frantically busy, but I've got one of those minds that I know that if I stopped being involved with Gusbourne, wouldn't take long and I'd be involved with something else almost as enthusiastically as I am about Gusbourne. So no, I don't envisage retirement.